Aloha, folks, and welcome back to Degree Free. I am your host, Ryan Maruyama. And on this podcast, we share fundamentals we've discovered and the mistakes we've made while self-educating, getting work, building businesses, and making money. Today, we have a special guest. Today, we have Jay Yow on the podcast. And Jay Yow is the producer and audio engineer for the James Altucher Show. This was an awesome episode for me because I've been listening to the James Altucher Show for years, and I've been hearing Jay come on and give his 2 cents in the background for years. And so it was awesome for me to finally meet him and get to talk to him. Today, we talk about podcasting. We talk about his background and coming from a different country and how he got the current role that he's in and how he basically made his own role. And we talk about how you can do it as well. We also talk about gaming. We get a little bit in the weeds there, but we talk about crypto. There's and much more. So please enjoy this episode with Jay Yow. So how did you learn all of your audio engineering? I know you went to school for it, right?
Yes. Yeah, so I went to school for it. It's funny because I wanted to be a rock star back then. And then I just realized I'm not good looking and I can't sing, because I have a weird way of speaking and articulate things. So, and then my school teacher is like, hey, you can always do audio engineering. I'm like, oh, what's audio engineering? And then he explains to me like, hey, audio engineering is, you sit behind the desk, you record the audio and stuff like that. You get to, involve creatively because you're audio engineer. They have to kind of listen to you to get the best sounding audio. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. And then from that point on, I'm like, I'm just going to focus on English, physics, and math. So like, so I'm from Malaysia. In Malaysia, we have like sort of the similar of like SAT here. So like it's a type of exam to see which college you can go or wherever. And then those 3 subjects are the only one that get A's in my result. So yeah, and then I went to the audio engineering school in Malaysia, and then I start interning right away. Like I go to school and I start interning right away as well, so that I can learn faster compared to all my classmates. So I have like hands-on experience and all that stuff, and that's how it began. So I started as an intern and go to school at the same time. Whatever I learned that day, I go to the studio and I start applying it. Like maybe not for like artists or whatever. It's just like so I can have a place that I can practice. I just run a sound or have my phone playing music, have microphone connect, and then start patching different stuff. That's how I get started. But I think when I was younger and I sort of like music and audio in a way that back then, remember we have a thing called cassette.
Yeah.
I'm sure like a lot of people right now have no idea what cassette is.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah, what is that? Yeah. And then during the same time, there's also CDs, compact disc. And I know what's compact disc anymore. So my dad has a car that, I usually ride. We usually have a long ride because, traffic jams everywhere in Malaysia. So I'm like, I have these CDs and then your car only play cassettes. I need to find a way to record it. So like I found like a way or like a CD player that can record CD into a cassette, and I start doing that. And then when I was in school, even in high school, I'm like, well, I would just get this software and just mess around. And I started playing with back then what was called a Cool Edit. It was precursor. It was what Adobe Auditions was before it got bought by Adobe Auditions. That's back in, I think it's 2000, I think. Back in 2000, that's when that happened. Yeah, that's how I got into it. I'm like, I just want to mess around with sound.
How old were you when you wanted to be a rock star? Was this like last year or?
No. I was 13 years old. I'm like, oh, look at all these rock stars. Look at all these people. They're so cool. They can sing and they get all the girls and stuff like that. I want to do that. So I started like learning guitars and piano by myself when I was 13, 14, and 15 years old came around. I'm like, I didn't look as good as any of them. Like they have like perfect face, sharp, perfect teeth. I have like weird teeth. They have nice hair. I have long hair, and then like the way I speak and the way I sing is is way different than them. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna, be a sound engineer. At least, during the mixing stage, I can control the creative, like I can make it a little bit different than what they wanted, and make it sounds better.
Do you still play guitar and piano?
Not as much anymore. Yeah. I used to
Yeah.
do it when I was in the band. And then, and also when I was engineering music, I need to, because I need to learn. I need to know what's going on in the instrument. So like as an audio engineer, you sort of have to know, for music especially, you sort of have to know how each instrument works, or at least have an idea of how each instrument works, so that when you record, you know how to mic them, you know how they should sound, or like a violin, how far you should mic them and stuff like that.
Right. Absolutely. And then how do you learn that stuff? Was it mostly just trial and error, or did you learn that through school?
Well, I learned that through school. That's for sure, because you need to have like some sort of baseline before you can start effectively trial and error. So if you go to school, the school will teach you the same thing. Almost every school will teach you the same thing. Like, this is how you mic this is how you mic that, this is how you mic that. Like, this is how you mic a guitar, this is how you mic a drum, this is how you mic a piano, saxophone, violins, however you want it. And then you start going into the studio, then you're like, okay, I'm going to start from what I learned, and then I start experimenting outside of it. I will have one safety. I will have one microphone, just sit there and be like, okay, this is how it is correct. And then I will just move around the other mics and like see how it sounds, and then see which one I like better. And it's also all based on experience too. Like, yeah, you need to have a good ear for sure. And then after that, it's based on experience, like how much you have done it. And you go into a room, you're like, okay, I walk around, I think I should mic it here because it's going to sound better here, and this and that.
So you said that you were originally from Malaysia. Like,
yep.
What brought you to the US?
My ex-girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend. She's like, hey, if you do come to the state, I'm going to the state. If you do come to the state, we're gonna break up. I'm like, sure, yeah. And also, I kind of want to win a Grammy, which never happened, and I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. But it would be great if I can win some sort of award, which I'm still working on. And then I'm like, okay, sure, I will go to the States. And then I chose Florida, and then she chose Ohio or somewhere. And then I came to the States, and then we broke up.
So she said you have to come to the States, and then you guys didn't go to the same state, like you guys.
Because I'm the kind of person that I don't want to hold anyone back. Like, I don't want to tell you where I'm gonna go, and then you're gonna like go to that state, and then you're like, that school is not what I wanted, and then you're gonna resent me. I'm like, at least we're in the same states. It's not that bad. And then and then we fight, and then we ended up broken up.
Do you still do music? Do you still mix music?
Not as much anymore. Once in a while I would do, but I haven't done music in a while. Like, the last time I did music was in 2017 or 2018, and then once I started working full time in podcasting, I just didn't have that much time to do music anymore. The closest thing that I did music for is when I go through intro music for our sub series. I will go through the music, I will buy them, and then I will move stuff around so it doesn't sound actually like how it is. Like, I will move stuff around, I will maybe add a couple sound effects, or maybe stuff that I think it should be in there, based on the concept. And I will edit that and put that in there. That's the closest thing to music that I've done in the past couple of years.
I see.
But it was still fun. It was still really fun. It was like, once the music is done, I'm like, this sounds so much better. It's so much better to fit the theme that we want the sub-series to be. And then and I'm like, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I was wondering that when I listened to the show, I'm wondering, I was like, oh, this is new music, and I wondered if you did it. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I didn't write it. I just buy it. I just, like, there's a couple music that I will go through, and then I'm like, oh, this is nice, and then we buy it, and then I would just move stuff around. I'm like, because we only have 30 seconds to play around with, or maybe less sometimes, especially the stinger, and then also the outro. That's why my intro music and my outro music always sounds a little bit different, because I want the outro to feel like an outro. It's not like the intro again. So like it's still the same. It still come from the same piece of music, but you just edit differently.
How do you make the outro feel like an outro? Like, is it just the descending music, or?
Well, it's for outro music, for me, like, depends how you want the outro to be. Everyone has different way to do it. Like, sometimes your outro start before it actually ends. Like some like some show, they will start like when they're like, "Oh, thanks for coming on," and then you hear the outro music. Some is like the outro comes right when the outro music is done. The episode is done. So for the one that come right when the episode is done, I usually start right when the end of the chorus, or not the end of the chorus, like the last chorus, when it's really hype up in the music. So it started out loud and then slowly go out, and then if something has to lead into the outro music, then I will start with the interlude. Like music have like, I don't know if do you know music?
Not really.
But so like music usually have intro, chorus, verse, chorus, and then sometimes they have an interlude. Like interlude or bridge or something like that. Then those will start with the bridge and go right into the last chorus, so the song can resolve very quickly. At least that's how I treat music usually.
Oh, that's interesting. As somebody that's pretty music illiterate and has been their whole life, like I'm the type of person that just listens to music and I'm just like, I like that. Oh, I don't like that. And I've never really thought about it in a discerning fashion. So yeah, that's
right.
Interesting. But yeah, that makes sense thinking about it. As far as using,
right? Yeah, because everyone.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and also everyone has a different. Music is subjective. Feel good, or if you like it, is subjective, right? So like, as long as you like it, as long as you like how it sounds, it's good for you. But for me, it's like everything has to be conceptualized. I think that's the right word. Yeah, like I like everything in the same theme, and then I like how it has to tie into different things. I like the way I like the format of the music. But if you like a piece of music and you think it should be like this, then you should be able to do that too. That is, like I said, music is very, very subjective.
Right. Absolutely. It's art in general.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No one can look at the art and this is like and be like, hey, this is 1 and this is 2. Yeah, like it could be 1 for you, but it could be 5 for me.
Yeah.
Like art and music is definitely subjective. Everything is subjective.
Yeah.
In real life.
How did you get into like making the transition from music to spoken word to the podcasting realm?
So other than doing music, I also, like, during the time, I also do a lot of voiceover and also post-production recording, in terms of like, like if someone wants to overdub a movie or whatever, they'll come to our studio. I will start recording the words. They look at the screen and then they hear the beep, and then they started acting and then they just say the word. I'm not sure. So that's called overdub. I do a lot of overdub and voiceover, and for me, I think my strong suit is still on voiceover. Even back then when I was doing music, like I like doing music, but like I'm really good at doing voiceover. I reach a point that I can record and edit at the same time. So like I will look at the script, right, and then if there's any so let's say if like a 3 paragraph script, I will mark all the mistakes, and then between paragraph I will what I call punch in and punch out, which I start recording right away. And then I will also anticipate when the voiceover artist is going to breathe, and then I will start punching in and out right there, right then. So like sometimes I only have like 0.5 seconds to work with. So I always freeze up the computer, because like I move so quickly, the computer can't really keep up. Even right now, like the computer still can't keep up. It's more of the program can't keep up. So I will mark it, and then I will be able to look at the script, look at the waveform. I know exactly what words is which waveform, and then cut it during the recording, happening at the same time. I usually can do that. So like I'm pretty good at spoken words already. And then one day James just come in because apparently our studio was like a block away from where he was living then. So James, if you don't know, James, I think between 2013 to 2000 at least 17, he was living from Airbnb to Airbnb. At the time he was living the minimalist lifestyle, and then my studio so happened to be really close by, and he comes in, and then I started my what I call the first podcast recording that I ever have. And then I'm like, I'm gonna use the fanciest mics ever, and which turned out to be a mistake. And then I started recording, and I'm like, this is great. Like, there's no format. They're just having a conversation, and I learned so much myself too. So I started recording podcasts with James, and then I'm like, this is great. I felt like this is way better than music because there's no format. You go in, you do things. You wouldn't know what you get. That's how I get into podcasts.
Yeah. What made
it's easy to.
What made the podcast great? Like, what about it? What were you drawn to?
You mean podcast in general?
I mean, just when you were
James
like,
podcast?
this is great. Was it just the unscripted nature of it, just coming from such a scripted thing?
It is. Yeah, it's the unscripted nature of it. I mean, like I do. Like even in music, like sometimes I prefer to record a jam sessions or like a jazz jam sessions. They have certain format, but like, it's still unscripted in a sense. But like for the podcast that I recorded with James, it's so unscripted. They just talk about things, and then it like everything they talk about, it's what I related to. Like I can relate to like introverts, and with AJ Jacobs, and then I started experimenting what they were talking about in the podcast to myself, and then I started getting better and better. I'm like, I just want to record podcasts right now. Obviously there's some podcasts I'm like, I rather not do this because I sort of know what they're gonna say. But that's why I still stick with James, because his podcast, you never know what he's gonna say. You know when he's gonna end, but you never know what he's gonna say in between during the taping, because at the end of the podcast you can always tell, like any podcast, you can always tell like, oh yeah, so what do you blah blah blah, and you're like, okay, this is ending.
Right. You said that earlier. You said that the mistake when he first came in, you used like the fanciest mic ever, and that it was a mistake. Like, what mic were you using, and why was that a mistake?
I mean, I was using this mic called Neumann U87. If there's any audio professional out there listening, they know exactly what Neumann U87 is. I believe the mic cost, I don't know what the price right now. I think back then it was like 8,000 a pop, or maybe 3,000 a pop. And then we were using a pair of it. And it's usually the microphone that rapper used to rap on, or singer used to sing on, like the legendary microphone, the U87. And then I started using it, and I'm like, this is so noisy. First off, like analog microphone, like fancy microphones usually are not the cleanest because they want the warm sound that I gave. And then also it's a condenser microphone, and if anyone wearing a chain, or they are like tapping a desk or whatever, you can hear it right away. I'm like, this is bad, this is annoying. And I did that for several sessions before I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna start using a dynamic microphone like the SM7B or wherever. And then I'm like, okay, this is a little bit better. This is what I wanted. But I still experiment a lot of different microphone then. Like I started out with U87, what they call the large diaphragm condenser microphone, which like pick up everything around you. And then I went to what they call a small diaphragm microphone. It's very small diaphragm. It doesn't pick up as much, but still, like you pick up like all the higher frequency stuff, like chain or pen snapping or pen write. Like if you write something with a pencil, it pick up too. And then eventually, I just went with SM7B. I'm like, okay, this is what it should be. This is how it should be. Yeah, it's a lot of try and error then. Yeah.
Right. And like, do you see with all this like basically tender love and care, like do you see a difference in the viewership or in the listenership when you have a really well produced, really awesome sounding show?
Oh yeah, For sure. Like if someone's recording on a phone, right? And then with like tons of background noise and stuff, you're not gonna share it with your friends, right? Because you'll probably embarrass yourself. Like, hey, and then they're gonna be like, if they didn't know anything about the show, they listen to the first half minutes. They're like, I don't know what is this about, and I can't stand the background noises, and then I just turn it off. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, having a good quality definitely helps. You know, of course, the content definitely needs to be good too, but at least you wouldn't turn people away right away. You know, you still have like, people will still at least give you a chance to try.
Right. That was one of the first things. That was one of the hardest things for me in coming into like podcasting or creating any type of video. Like, I guess kind of quickly about my background in like photography and videography and stuff. I started as a photographer. As a kid, I always had like a disposable camera around. I mean, there wasn't digital cameras yet, or at least they were really.
Oh, so you take the picture and then throw away the camera.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's why it's called disposable camera. You take a picture and then you're like, oh, right now, and then just throw it away.
Exactly. I don't get it. And then,
I don't get it. Yeah.
Wasteful.
It's still not sustainable.
Yeah.
Greta Thunberg's gonna be so angry about it, you know.
And so coming from that medium, like of photography, I wanted to get into video, and then so I started like. Eventually, when I got enough money to buy a DSLR camera, I got into video.
Okay. Right.
But then I started making videos, and then I was like, God, the sound is like really important. Like even more so than the, I mean, obviously what you're seeing matters too, but if people will deal with grainy video more than they'll deal with crappy audio.
Yeah. Like, because like I feel like audio is a subconscious thing, right? Like you can hear it, and if it doesn't sound good, there's something in you. It's like cringe a little bit. It's weird. Like and then it's so weird that like I remember when I was doing audio post productions, I always tell myself like it's so hard. I'm sure it's equally hard, but I felt like it's a little bit easier to fix the visual than the audio. Like if something goes wrong in the audio, you pick it up right away. But if like someone, let's say like the Game of Thrones, remember, I don't know if you watched Game of Thrones, but there was a big thing about season 8, someone left a coffee cup on the table. Right? If you watch it, you probably wouldn't realize unless you watch it like a couple times. Right? But if someone mess up the audio right then, you're like, oh, what happened to this audio, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, I remember when that happened, I had to see it, like the memes that were all made of it and stuff like that. And I remember thinking to myself, how did that get into the final cut? Like,
do you catch it the first time you watch it though?
I had to go back.
Exactly.
I had to go back.
No one catch it the first time. Yeah. I didn't. Are you a Star Wars fan?
I am a Star Wars fan in that I've watched every movie, but I've never read any of the books.
All right. Okay. So do you remember I think it's the first Star Wars movie back in the days? I think it's there's one scene that the stormtrooper was walking through the door and then hit his head, and then they leave it in the cut. Yeah, no one realized that. No one realized that happened. They probably have to watch it a couple of times. They're like, oh, look at this, they hit the head. Yeah. So, but if that's crappy, like if the lightsaber sounds weird, then you're like, oh, why does this lightsaber sound like this,
Yeah, and it's so obvious, and it totally destroys the whole ambiance or the whole
emotions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the immersive. Yeah, the audio is like what makes you makes you immerse in the movie. It's like Jurassic Park. We do know that's how T-Rex sounds. For all we know, T-Rex could be just meowing the whole time back in the Jurassic era, But Steven Spielberg's motto is make believe. They make it so that you will believe it. So yeah, like audio is very, very powerful.
Yeah, definitely. With doing as many, so how long have you been the producer of working on the James Altucher Show?
I started as an assistant first. I'm not even an engineer. I started as an assistant for James in 2000. I only be assistant for like one session. That's it. And I think I'm pretty sure it's 2016. And then for Stephen Dubner and James has a show called Questions of the Day for that one sessions. And then they're like, oh, this studio is great, so close, I can walk by. And then they started booking the studio without with an engineer. So my a lot of my other engineer wasn't available then. I'm the only one that available, so they put me on there, even though I think I'm just a junior engineer at that point. And then I started recording it, and then I'm like, this is great. And then I told the studio manager, like, hey, if they book again, just put me on there, since I already worked with him. They know me. I want to keep the relationship going. It's good for the studio as well, and also good for the client, so they know what to expect every time they come in. And then I started working for James, record James. It's still part-time because like he still go to other studio as well if other studio is available. And then my studio is about to close, and then I reach out to James like, hey, I can take care of your booking. You don't have to look for studio. You just tell me the time and the schedule. I have a studio network that I know, and then I will just book the studio for you. You just have to show up and start recording, and I would take care of everything else. So I started doing that. Then only I become full-time with James, because he knows that he has an engineer that he always uses. Because one thing about being a producer and an engineer is learning your client's habit. So I know his habit. He know how I work. So like we don't have to adjust every time. Every time we go to new places, I know exactly what he wanted and how the show should sound. So like even different places, I can make it sound similar. Then that's when I started working for him full time in 2017, I believe. Yes. Yeah. So I've been working with James for like, holy shit, 7, now it's 22, 5, 6 years now.
Oh, awesome. What did so your studio was closing down, and you were reaching out to him saying, I mean, he didn't really have a job role open, right? I mean, you just...
No, it's because I know so first thing, I know that he definitely need an engineer, because I know that he's going from different places to different places. So he doesn't have a fixed engineer. So technically there's no job opening. Like there's no job for it, So I'm like, hey, I just want to, let me take care of you. It's going to be very simple. So I just created a job for myself. Like I would just be at that point, I wouldn't consider myself an engineer anymore. That's more like a studio coordinator. Like I'll coordinate with the client and the studio. And then I added the engineer's hat on.
Yeah. What did that look like when you approached him? Was it an email, or was it a...
Oh yeah, it's an email. It's actually through another producer. Like, hey, I know that the studio is closing. I know that you guys are looking for... You guys always go to different places to record, but at the time, I think he record mainly with me in our studio. I told him my studio is closing. I don't know what your plan is, but I can find other studio for you, because that's what they wanted, right? It's better to ease up it's better to do more to help others, like so that the producer can focus really just the audio and writing, the description and all that stuff. Like, so she doesn't have to reach out to studio, and she's not based in New York, so she doesn't know the studio scene as well as I do, because I already work in the studio at the time, I already in the studio scene for like 3-4 years. So I know exactly what studio is it in New York City, how they charge and how much they charge. I usually find like whatever that's reasonable for them, and also in their time frame. So let's say if I reach out to one studio, they're like, oh yeah, we're not available. I'm like, okay, it's fine. And then I'll just reach out to another studio.
Yeah, that's like amazing, and that's huge. That's something that we try to preach or talk about, at least, is kind of creating your own job. Is like, and not being afraid to just make the suggestion, or at least ask. I mean,
I have to say, like, it's weird. Like, that was a desperate time for me, because I know the studio is closing, and then I have to worry about my visas and my job, obviously, and my gigs, because as an engineer, you always freelance anyway. So like the studio isn't paying you a salary. So I'm desperate, and also like I'm worried about my job, because like if that's not what's happening, I wouldn't be asking them, because but the thing is I have no backup plan. I would just go ask them. So it's the situations that force me into that positions to ask them, which makes sense for me, because like, a lot of people like to be in comfortable states, but sometimes being in uncomfortable push you to do things that you never imagined that you would do. I'm an introvert. I would never ask anyone for anything, and I'm I know this is bad, but like I just bad at asking for help. I'm really bad at asking for help. Like a lot of time, I'm like, you know what? I rather do it myself and see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm very similar. I
Yeah,
pretty much don't ever ask for help. And it's something
yeah.
I'm working on. It's something I'm working on.
It's something that everyone should be working on. Yeah, because like it's hard to ask for help, because I feel like there's only that many helps that you can ask before the other people be like, oh, again, roll eyes and say again, like that's the worst feeling ever.
Right, exactly. And I guess it's one of those things that you just let them make that decision, right? I mean, and this is something for
Right.
a therapy session for me, because I deal with it. I deal with this too, and it's like, oh man, I don't know. I need help here, but I don't want to ask anybody. I think for me, it's a lot of like being a bother. Like I don't want to.
Yeah, it's same with me too. Like I don't want to bother anyone.
Right, exactly. And I'm just like, that's okay. I'll just do it myself. But
Yeah, like, but over the course of the time, I did learn that, like, I will always make sure that I have something else to offer them. Like I know I need help. It's better if I help them. So like I will offer something back. Like, hey, can you help me do this? I can dog sit your dog for however long. So it's like a barter system a little bit. Obviously sometimes people will say like, nah, it's fine. I will just help you. But that always stay with me, like in the back of my mind. It's like I owe something to them. So like, if they need anything, I would definitely like help them. I think it's also a good way to build relationship too. Unless unless your help is like crazy help, then then it's hard.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Now for working with James for 6 years, and you're there for most of the recordings. You're kind of a fly on the wall for most of it.
Yes. It's all of them.
All of them.
Yeah, because I'm full time with James,
right?
Now, and I'm a producer as well, so like I'm there all the time.
Like, how much do you get out of it? I mean, just getting from all these guests, right? I mean,
well, I mean, I always try to get something out of everyone, and always like obviously I can get everything out of everyone, but at some that's why it's good to be fly on the wall, because no matter how bad or how good the conversation is, you're always there. And then you just listen in. And then you take mental note and stuff like that. Yeah, so that's why like I love working for James, because like all the guests that comes on, like Jordan Harbinger, and like Mark Cuban, Richard Branson, like people like that, when they come on, they have interesting things to say, and they learn interesting things. Sometimes it's not as self-help as it should be, but at the same time, like sometimes you just want to learn like facts. It doesn't have to be self-help. You just like random facts, or like random crypto facts. I'm like, this is great. Yeah.
It's kind of a added benefit of the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's why like it's like, I mean, at some point I want to get into like scripted podcasts, but at the same time, like unscripted podcasts, you learn so many different things, because you never know what they're gonna say.
Right. Every day is different.
Every day is very different.
Yeah. With kind of moving around here, we're gonna jump around all over the place.
For sure.
One of the things that I think I heard you mention before on one of the episodes is that you stream. You're a Twitch streamer.
Oh yeah, a very casual Twitch streamer. Sometimes I stream if I feel like it, and then sometimes I'm like, nah,
What games do you normally play? First of all, what's your I've never watched Twitch, or I mean, that's a lie. I've watched.
That's no way you never watch it. Yeah.
That's a lie.
Yeah.
I hardly ever watch Twitch streams. I've usually watched the clips that people post on YouTube afterwards.
Right.
And
Right.
I'm like first generation of nerd of like this current like geek or nerd or whatever. Right. So like 15 years ago when it wasn't cool to play video, or like 20 years ago now, when it wasn't cool to play video games.
Yeah, imagine. So like I remember my mom, like every time I played games, my mom was like, "Oh, we play games again? You know, you have to go study. You have to be engineer or the lawyer or the doctor or the accountant at some point." I'm like, no, but look at the kids play games nowadays. They're making like $4 million, $2 million a year. I'm like, Mom, you should just let me play games all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I know. So what is your Twitter handle? What username? What is?
I don't even remember. Oh, I think my Twitch handle or Twitter handle.
Your Twitch.
Oh, it's J Fireman with the E, so it's JFIR3 Fireman.
Okay.
You know, it's like I try to make something out of it. I'm pretty sure that is because like I haven't logged into my Twitch. I haven't streamed in a while now because that is
okay.
That. Yeah, because I was busy moving.
We'll get it and we'll put it in the show notes for everybody so that they could
thank you.
Follow you and watch it.
Once in a while, once in a while just play so the game that I play mostly it's called a game called Dota, Defense of the Ancients. So it's a do you play it too?
I don't play Dota, but I remember when Dota was not Dota. Like was
Warcraft 3?
Yes. That is how like I was a nerd. Like I used to get picked on so much. People don't understand. I don't play like I that's when I played Dota. Like before it was even a Dota.
Yeah.
It was a custom game
before it was Dota.
Built off of Warcraft 3.
It was called Dota All-Star.
Yeah.
Dota All-Star 5.63 or something like that. Yeah, I still remember those days. And then it's crazy because like Dota nowadays, if you go to what they call TI, the international, it's like the grand championship. I remember last year the prize pool was $40 million. Yeah, $40 million, and if you win first prize, I think you get $16 million, and you split among 5 people.
Whoa.
Or 6 people now because including coach. Yeah, but coach is not getting as much. Each person is getting a couple $1 million.
That's crazy.
I know. I'm like, Mom, why do you stop me from playing games?
I know, and I remember within my group of friends, we're losing so many listeners here, but it's all right.
It's okay.
It's okay. Between my group of friends, we had these 2 guys when we were playing. This was Halo 1 days and eventually Halo 2. Eventually Halo 2.
That was Xbox. Is it? It's not even Xbox 360. It's just Xbox, right?
It was Xbox One, and then just Xbox. Yeah,
it's just Xbox,
right?
Yeah, then Xbox 360.
Yeah,
they have a weird name ever,
right?
Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox One S.
Yeah, something like that.
What?
And then
this is such a weird thing.
That we would make so we were all getting made fun of because we were nerds. But then within our group, there was 2 guys that would they would team up together and they would just like practice because they were trying to.
Okay.
This was the beginning of like professional gaming.
Esport?
Yeah, of esports. Right. And
right.
so they were like really trying to make it. And so they would be, we would see them online. And this was Halo 2 days now that I'm thinking about it. This is Halo 2 days. So we would see them online.
So this is 2000.
This is about 2006, maybe 2007, 8,
7,
something like that.
Yeah, around the time. Yeah.
And we see them, they're not playing a game, they're just in a custom game, just those 2, and we would always like ask for an invite, and they'd be like, no, we're practicing.
No,
they would they would run around maps and like practice their like grenade throws and everything like that, and I was just like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah,
there's not even like that's not even a job, but 16 years later or whatever it is, 15 years later, it's like,
oh shit, are they making like a ton of money? Are they like professional?
No. I'm saying it is a job now. Like, if they were,
it is a job now.
If they were doing that now, no, they're definitely not doing it now.
It's so unfair. Like back then, like if you are nerds, you play game, you get picked on. Nowadays, you play game, they're like, "Oh, you cool? Do you play Minecraft?" Like, that's like, please,
It's a big thing in this house because I was into all of that. I'm Japanese, and so like
right
in Hawaii, like being Japanese, growing up in a Japanese household, like there was a lot of Japanese things, and manga and anime were one of those things. But I was just into them like way before where people would call, like I'm like reading, like I'm reading comics.
Yeah,
I'm like going online to find the I don't know if you know like Naruto, but
Naruto, of course. Who doesn't know Naruto?
Yeah.
I mean, although I think Dragon Ball is better than Naruto.
Yeah. So when Naruto was like just coming out, I would every Thursday it would come out on this website that would translate all of the Japanese to English for you.
Right.
And so I would just read every new episode every Thursday as it came out live instead of waiting for it in like written form. And then now I see all these people.
Because because comics used to, I mean not comics, manga used to, they used to be on one magazine called Young Jump magazine, and that's how they come out every week, and then they will staple them together and then became issues, manga issues, and then they sell them.
Yeah, exactly. And I didn't want to wait for that, and I don't.
Yeah, it's too impatient.
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to know what happened. I wanted to know what happened now.
To Naruto.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's every time that's like, is he gonna use his Russian gun or whatever it's called? Yeah. Right, the ball thing.
Yeah. It's been years since I've read it. I'm trying to think. Yeah.
Now there's Boruto now.
Yeah.
They have kids now, and they're writing the kids apparently.
But the reason why I brought up Twitch was I was bringing it up because like I know that you've got your hand in a lot of things, or you're doing a lot of things, or at least you've talked about it before on your show or on James's show about like having multiple streams of income and doing different things. So what else are you doing? Like, is Twitch mainly just for fun, or are you doing it to garner an audience?
Right, Twitch for me it's mainly for fun. I mean, like obviously I want to build an audience as well, but at the same time, like Twitch is where I can express myself at the same time, like because on some certain issues I'm very opinionated. So like it's just me expressing myself, and at the same time can play games. And I do think that people get connected better via games for some reason. So like if I met another gamer right now, we will instantly bond, like, we don't have to talk about crypto or whatever. We just talk about games all day, and I love that. And yeah, it's mainly for fun. And then and then I also doing like side gigs, like like I didn't write newsletter and all that stuff, but I also do like a couple other shows that I will edit and mix at the same time. But yeah, multiple income stream is definitely good. And like streaming it's good, but like streaming it's crazy. Like the people that actually do make money from streaming, they are very disciplined. They will come on and they will go live every day, 5 to like however long. So they will have a set schedule. It's like their full-time job. For me, I think that's a little bit excessive. Like first off, I work for James. Like our schedule is always changing. Like later I have a sessions to record, and then maybe tomorrow's I have a session to record, or maybe not. So like I never have a set schedule.
Yeah. It definitely takes that discipline, as you said. Just this is when people. Yeah. A lot of people think that, you can just log on whenever, but people expect you to be on from 8 o'clock to noon, and then from 1 to 5, just like a regular job.
Yeah, and also people doesn't think about this. Like people that stay on Twitch at certain times. So let's say if you stream at 8 o'clock in the evening, your viewer is going to be very different than when you stream at 1 p.m. So maybe it's different people. Like if you always show up at 8 p.m., you build a rapport and relationship with that viewers that will watch you, And then if you log on at 1 p.m., all the people there are just strangers that they don't know you. You could still do it once in a while, but they don't know you or whatever. You still want to stick with that schedule.
Yeah. You mentioned crypto earlier, and I know that you had it on one of your episodes about getting scammed.
Oh yeah.
Are you still messing around with the shit coins, as they say?
Not as much anymore. After that, I'm a little bit more careful with shit coins. I will look at their name. I'm like, okay, this is another Inu coin. I'm like, screw this. I'm not gonna do this. But I still, but there are some, I wouldn't call shit coins, like some altcoin. I will look at it and I'll look at their website and then look at their functions. I'm like, this could be a very, this could be a thing in the future, like XY2Y or whatever it's called. And then there are a couple like merit or coins like that. They have some protocol that are really interesting that I would buy in, but I didn't buy as in I didn't pay cash. I would just convert whatever Ethereum that I have into them because they're essentially on the Ethereum blockchain, so you can just convert it over and over.
Right. What do you normally use to?
I use Uniswap, and Uniswap is probably the easiest one.
Yeah,
it's what everyone is using.
Yeah.
I tried the Coinbase. Coinbase, you can convert it itself in the wallet itself, not the Coinbase exchange, the Coinbase wallet. That one is just way too expensive.
It is.
Like the gas fee on Uniswap, if it's like $30, it will be $150 on the Coinbase wallet. Depends on what coins you are exchanging, converting.
Right.
More like.
Yeah, I got maybe like 2021, 2020. Yeah, I started doing the altcoin, shitcoin flipping myself.
Right.
Yeah. I know that you.
It's very dangerous.
Yeah,
though.
I know that you got in like in 2016. I think I heard with like Ethereum and Bitcoin.
That was Ethereum, Bitcoin, but I wasn't in that much because I didn't have as much money. So like that time I buy like $50 or whatever, a very very small amount of money, and then I stopped buying, and then I buy it again. So like I don't have a consistent. I felt like if I have a consistent if I put consistent money in them, then I would be better. But now I'm trying to put like $50 every or $100 every month.
Right.
Like I just don't look at the price as much anymore because like if it's go down, it go down. If it's go up, go up. At least if it's go down and then I put $100 it go up, I'll have more. So I just I only do the one that I believe in, like Ethereum, Bitcoin, and Solana. Actually, these three coins that I have a recurring buy on them.
What's the breakdown? Is it $100 per, or is it that $100 split 30, like 33?
So I have $100 on. So I do $100 on Bitcoin, $100 on Ethereum, and $50 on Solana. Solana is still pretty new, so I mean it has some great potential, but the thing is, like, if Solana went up 100%, I still make money, But if Solana go away, I don't lose as much.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's kind of the same thing for me. I got into Bitcoin, not so much Ethereum, but Bitcoin in like 2016. I was trying to.
Oh, that's good.
I was trying to. It's kind of funny. I don't think I've ever said this, but I was trying to gamble online. Like I grew up so in Hawaii. Well, I wouldn't say in Hawaii. Well, in Hawaii, the sports gambling is very big. Yeah. So like betting on like football games. Very big. Right. And there's
I feel like isn't that just an Asian culture? Yeah. Like I mean it's everywhere, but like Asian culture, like especially Asian, like would do that way more often.
Yeah, I definitely think so. Because it's all on my. It's not so much on my. I'm Japanese, Chinese, and Hawaiian. So it's not so much on my Japanese side, but on my Hawaiian. I mean, on my Chinese side, they're degenerates. They're degenerates.
I know. I don't know why. I think it's a culture. It's a culture thing, Like we gamble, like we play mahjong all the time, and we have to like put money in playing mahjong. Like I started playing mahjong with money when I was like 7 years old.
Right, exactly.
It's very small amount of money, but we still do it.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. And so that's really big. So I grew up gambling, and when I moved away, I was looking for
Right.
a place to gamble, and I couldn't. So I looked up online. There was this sketchy website, and it said,
Sketchy.
yeah, it was sketchy. And I was just like, it's like, we accept Bitcoin. And I was just like, I have no idea what this is, but I need to get some Bitcoin so that I can move it over to this website so that I could gamble.
Right. How do you buy Bitcoin then? Like there's no exchange selling Bitcoin
Back then. No, I think there was,
like 2016. Okay. I think Coinbase.
Already, Coinbase
around,
is how I bought it. That's why. So there was, it wasn't as user friendly as it is now, obviously. I had to like look. I didn't know what it was. I was just like, whatever this is, I'm gonna do it. Right. And so I ended up buying like, I think it was like 500 a piece at the time. And I ended up buying like 5 because I was just a degenerate.
Shit! If you keep it, you have a lot of money.
Yeah, I wish that I had just kept all of it. But I ended up gambling most of it away. And then I held on to a little bit, and and then I didn't re-up until like maybe 2019, 2018.
Yeah, because 2019 is everyone's like saw the potential.
Right.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like I have bought, I bought some Bitcoin and Ethereum, bought some crypto. Other than converting them, I don't think I've sold any of them. I don't think I've sold any of the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Or Ethereum. I just holding them.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I guess, what do you think? What are you holding on for, and what do you think the future is?
I don't know. Like, I was just holding on, so hopefully it will go up higher, and also hopefully it will actually replace. I wouldn't say replace money. Everyone says it's going to replace money. I don't think it's going to be 100% replace cash or whatever. People still need cash. At least not in next 5 or 10 years. So like I was hoping that it will coexist, like almost like right now, but like a little bit more coexist. And right now, like you can still buy with Ethereum if you want to, but at the same time you can buy with cash if you want to. And then I can start using them because Bitcoin is so much. Like you probably wouldn't buy things with Bitcoin. You probably buy things with like the Satoshi unit of it.
Yeah.
You didn't buy like 0.5. You didn't buy things for 0.5 Bitcoin. I mean grocery for 0.5 Bitcoin. You probably buy grocery with like 100 Satoshi or 200 Satoshi or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing to see how far the industry has come. It's from 6 years ago. It's just
I know.
It's
isn't US trying to pass a bill on Bitcoin and stuff like that?
I think I read an article on that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know when it's gonna get big, it's when IRS starting asking you money for it.
Yeah.
When IRS is like, hey, you buy all this Bitcoin, you sold all this Bitcoin, make all this money, give us some money.
Uncle Sam it's getting Uncle big. Sam is always gonna want his fair share.
And then if they realize, they can make a lot more money of it, they're gonna make it, they're gonna regulate it, which is good. Without regulations, they're not gonna trust anything. The government not gonna trust anything. So I don't mind some regulations.
Yeah. To kind of jump around kind of bring it back on par with this podcast. This is called the Degree Free Podcast, and so I kind of wanted to know, like, what are your views on college? And I think if I did my research right, I think you have an associate's degree.
Yep, I have an associate degree, and I didn't have an undergrad or whatever. And also, the reason why I get associate degree is because of my ex-girlfriend. Because if not, we're gonna break up in Malaysia. So I came to the States and get an associate degree so I can be here. But well, I would say like higher educations like doctor, or maybe I'm not sure about lawyer, but doctor for sure. You probably definitely need degrees, right? People have to make sure you're certified. As long as you're certified and all that stuff, it's fine. But a lot of other things that you don't really need a degree for, like as an audio engineer, do I really need to study audio engineer? I might as well just intern for people, like free internship for like a year or two, and then you become an assistant, and that's how you get money. That's how you make money. And then James doesn't ask me what degree do I have before he hired me. In the studio, when I go apply for an internship in the studio, they stare at my resume for 2 seconds, and then they're like, okay, sure, you're hired. Yeah, they don't ask me like what console and what stuff that I know. It will be great, it will be helpful, but all that you could still learn by interning. I would say having a mentor is better than having a degree.
Yeah, having somebody that's kind of been there, kind of showing you the ropes. Well, you said that when you first came, you had to go to college? Was that the way that you were here for your visa or something like that, or you wanted to go?
Yeah. That's I mean, I also wanted to go to the studio. I wanted to go to the school because I want to see like how different they teach, and like every like Asia country and Western country back then have a very different approach in recording music and mixing music. In terms of music productions, audio productions, very different approach. So I sort of want to go there and sort of learn like how it is. And it's the easiest way is go to a college, so we don't even, and I don't know anyone here. So the easiest way for me to go to another country is through educations. So, and also I can learn how to fit into the Western culture, because I live in Malaysia my whole life. So I think that's a good way of education and degree works if you go to another country for different exposure, because you still have to learn sort of the culture and stuff like that. But I would say most of more often than not, you probably don't need, unless you're a doctor. Maybe you will need some some degree.
When you first moved here to the US, did you knew English already, right? Because that was one of the things you studied.
In Malaysia and in Southeast Asia in general, like people are pretty fluent in English. We watch a lot of American movies, so like that's how we learn. And in Malaysia, English is sort of like a second language. In Singapore, it's a first language. In Malaysia, it's second language. In Thailand, like people can sort of speak broken English. It's like you can still communicate with them. Most of the people can still speak English. So, and then I came here, I have a lot more opportunity to practice. That's how I, become better at my English.
Yeah. What led you from, okay, so you graduated. What led you to New York? How did you end up?
I have a friend that lives in New York, and then they're like, yeah, I just came over, rent. I can get you a very cheap deal for the rent. I think I was paying $300 or $400 a month in New York City, but I have like 1, 2, 3. I have 3 roommates in a house, and then no 3, 4, 5. I have 6 roommates in a house. It's a townhouse. I have 6 roommates. So like that's why the rent is so cheap. And then I'm like, oh, it's cheap. It's New York. I'm just gonna go hang out and see what's gonna happen. So I went to New York.
Yeah.
And New York, it's great if you are single. You're still trying to figure stuff out, and you want to figure out what you're going next. New York is great. And then once you figure out, New York is a little bit too expensive.
Yeah, New York is a little expensive. Where did you live in New York? Like what area?
I was living in Queens, and then and then I moved to Upper West Side before I moved to Atlanta. So now I'm in Atlanta.
Right. How do you like Atlanta versus New York?
Man, it's so much quieter, so much more peaceful, and people here are nice. Like, I felt like it's like a political thing. Like every time like I was in New York, I'm like, I'm thinking about moving to Georgia. People are like, ugh, Georgia, the worst state ever. And I'm like, well, is it that bad? And they're like, well, yeah, look at their politics, blah blah blah. I'm like, well, first off, I can't vote because I'm not a U.S. citizen. Second of all, I'm Asian, so it's always white people first, black people, then Asian people. I'm sure you deal with the same. If they have to serve anyone in the line, they go with the white people first, black people, and then Asian people. We are the last, because we don't make noise. Yeah, and so like politics doesn't really affect me. Like I have no say in politics at all.
Yeah. That was one of the things that I was surprised with as well about Georgia or even the South in general. I coming from Hawaii, you don't know
Oh,
anything.
you're in Texas, right?
Yeah, so I'm in Texas now, but I used to live in Savannah.
Right.
I used to live in Savannah,
Oh,
North Carolina.
oh,
I used to live
nice.
I used to live in New York, but I didn't live in New York. I lived in Westchester, a little outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Right.
And so I lived all over. And one of the things before I moved to Georgia, people were like, same thing. They were like, "Oh man, I don't know, it's super racist over there, and this and that, and this and that." And I went, and I was
Right.
just like, "People here are great. I mean, they're
Yeah.
nice."
I mean, I do have to say, I do heard that like Atlanta and Savannah are like the two best place to be in Georgia. So like if you go out from the two states, maybe a little bit different. But I came down here, it's like I told people I go to Atlanta. I mean, it's great, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is. Atlanta's beautiful, and Savannah. If you ever get the chance to make that drive, this Savannah.
I'm thinking about it's like what 2-3 hours.
It's a little further than that, but yeah, it's definitely worth it. Even for like just for a weekend, it's one of the most beautiful little town cities.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. I always heard good things about Savannah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
and the name is it's so nice to say to, hey, Savannah.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, I definitely want to visit at some point.
Yeah,
for sure.
There are a lot of people listening that listen to this podcast, they don't know what they want to do. Like they're a little lost in their career, and they like to try different things. And if somebody wanted to be an audio engineer, if somebody wanted to be a podcast producer, like what would be some of the first steps that you would tell somebody? Like what's the first advice that you would give?
Okay, I think this is pretty okay advice. I don't know if I'm in that position to give that advice because I never know what I want to do, you know. But I just enjoy doing audio in general. Like if you give me a piece of audio to fix with a good content and doesn't sound bad, once I fix it, I'm like, okay, oh man, I feel so satisfied. But if you want to get into a podcast producer or editor, just start a podcast. Because then you know how the process is, right? Then every time. So let's say you want to start a podcast and you want to buy a podcast equipment. The first thing you do is you research on the internet, like how people buy podcast equipment. Then you have skin in the game. You sort of need to figure out for yourself. That's actually essentially what happened to me. Like I have to figure it for myself. I try to record my own singing at home. I can't figure it out. I try to find things, and then I'm like, okay, I learned these tactics. I'm gonna apply it to other people. Like I never done streaming before, and then I think James should do streaming, so I started doing it myself. Like I started doing like OBS and stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, this works. I'm like, James, this is how you do it. So you always do it yourself first. Treat yourself as a guinea pig and experiment on anything that you want to, and then you give it to then you teach it to other people. So it's the easiest way is to start something yourself.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's one of the things that people are afraid of is just kind of starting things. And I get it.
Oh man,
I get it.
Yeah, I get it too. Like it's just so hard to start things because like you have to think about. Like I was thinking this the other day too. Like like a lot of people are like, oh, you're afraid of doing something. Just start. Just start. I'm like, it's not that easy. You don't just start because like if it's that easy, if someone has like illness or disease, you can just say like, oh, it's not that hard. You can just be better. Then you be better. No, it doesn't work that way. Like because you have to go over a lot of mental obstructions, because like it's all about your mental state. Like people are like, oh, maybe it's not good enough, maybe people have done it before. I would say just start very small one. Like just even if you didn't start, you just like do a mock-up, like like just imagine if you want to have a podcast, what would you do? Like what's the first step you want to do? And then there's a lot of free course out there. Maybe one day I will do the course as well. But there's tons of free course out there to help you start a podcast.
Yeah. With the podcast that you work on, are you in charge of being the producer? Are you in charge of all like the social media posting, creating the thumbnails and all that? Or
Yep. Yeah, so like I mean, like some other shows that have the dedicated people that do that, but for our show, it's just like it's literally just a 3-man show. It's just me and a podcast editor, and then James. Just literally 3 of us. We just do, and then I'll just handle all the recording, the thumbnail, the social media, writing the descriptions, listening, sound check, air check, quality check, and then I have to deal with ads, and then I have to talk to like different hosting platform, like, hey, we want to do this, and then we'll come up with ideas like, hey, maybe we should start doing this. That's why you see that we have so many sub-series, because I'm like, I want to do all this, but I don't want to start a new feed because you're going to lose a lot of like, there's no way for us to compare, So I'm like, we're just going to do all this. We're just going to start Side Hustle Friday. We're going to do my favorite things. We're going to do Make You a Millionaire. We're going to do Wall Street Insane. And now we just started a new series called Who Are You? So that was fun. And then I'm like, I'll just figure out all the audio stuff after, and then all the podcast, all the new sub series, all the new artwork, it's all from me. Like I just did it all them by myself.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. That's I give it to you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of work, but at the same time, like it's not something that you will get burned out of, because like every time you start a new series, it's literally just a new series, and then you're like, oh, this is cool. Oh, I didn't know this worked. Like it's something that you experiment and it works, and then you're like, okay, this is cool. I'm just curious, like, do you see different artwork on the show?
Do I personally, as a consumer of your show? No, yep. I don't. Not really.
Oh. You listening on Apple Podcasts?
I always listen on. I listen to your show on Pocket Casts.
Oh, do they show different artwork for different episodes?
They just show the regular one in the RSS feed. Yeah, so
gotcha. Yeah, because Apple Podcasts is the same. Like Spotify show different artwork, because like that's ultimately our idea is we want to be almost like a TV a little bit, so like everyone can choose what they want to listen to. That's why we have different artwork and different intro music. But which is your favorite intro music?
Oh, that's a good question. The which one was I just listening to? It was you and Nathan.
The companion
that was
podcast?
a while. Yeah, it was a while ago. I went back to listen to in preparation for this one.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I like this one. Yeah.
Oh, thank
you.
Yeah. We started doing that, and then we stopped doing that because everyone's got busy, and then we realized it doesn't add anything to the show right now, and then maybe we'll do it again in the future.
Yeah. It was good. It was good to, as a listener of the show, it's kind of a good. I could see how what you said it might not have gotten the most listens ever, but as a consumer of the show, it's kind of a nice thing to like peel back the curtain on what you guys have seen. Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that was a fun one. But the thing is, like, a lot of time it's also like, we like there's only so far we can peel back on before everything's gonna be the same.
Right.
So that's why we only do a couple episodes, and then we just like, okay, let's give it a rest. Maybe we'll do a couple more episodes, like in a couple months or something like that.
Whatever happened to that? I think James was gonna do. You guys were gonna do a. I was wrong or something, and you guys were gonna do one on college.
Oh yeah. We would do one, and then we would do one on college, and then James got busy with chess.
Oh, okay.
So now he's on the chess now. Man, we should revisit that. I was wrong, because that was a good one. The homeowner was good. We got a lot of good feedback of that, because then it's everyone. Then because back then everyone was trying to buy a house, because that was when the housing market was really was really good then. Yeah, we would definitely revisit them at some point. But right now we have so many new series. One series that we were really excited about was the Wall Street Insane. I don't know if you heard any of the
Yeah, I love
episodes
it.
yet.
It's a great series. I mean, I think it's only 2 episodes so far, or at
Yeah.
least that I've listened to.
Yeah, it's only 2 episodes. Yeah, and then we're gonna have more coming out. Like when it's funny because that episode came to my mind. It's when James and Ahmed talking about crypto, the first time, and then after the podcast, they were just talking about, oh yeah, remember this, remember this, remember this. I'm like, and then after that, I'm like, James, you should definitely do a series on just you talking about what happened to you. Like, why is every bad things happen to you and around you, So that's why that show started. And then we pull in some, like the his business partner that never done a podcast before. We pull him in. And that was great too, like I didn't know he was so he was so good at storytelling and stuff like that. I'm like, this is great. And then I created an artwork, make it a little bit like 80s a little bit, because it's, even though it's in the 90s or 2000, but it still felt like an 80s time because it's so long ago. And then I just pick a music that's similar to what's called Billions. Was
Billions.
it Billions, the
Yeah.
show? So it's a little bit like R&B genre, a little bit, a little bit dark, gritty. And then it's also showcased that New York City at that time was gritty, dark, and crazy a little bit. So that's why I chose the intro music.
Yeah, that was got to be one of my favorite little mini series that you guys do. Are all those mini series? A lot of them they're your brainchild. Like a lot of the ideas.
Yes. Yeah. So the Side Hustle Friday was James and I, because during the time it was lockdown, and I think we were doing IG live, and then James came out a lot of like James found a lot of like ways that people can make money because it was lockdown, no one can go out and work. So and then James like, hey, I think we should do a Side Hustle Friday, and I'm like, oh yeah, sure. And then I just did the artwork and then did everything, and then we do a whole series. And then the series ended because things are opening up again, and then everyone's already going back to work. We felt like that it's not necessary to have a Side Hustle Friday anymore. So we're like, okay, let's stop that, because everyone's doing what they were doing already. And then we started, and then I remember James was talking to someone about stuff that he's really interested in, and then I'm like, James, you should do my favorite thing. So we did a couple episodes on that. I think it was movie and books and stuff like that. And then he sort of got into chess and he got busy, so we stopped. And then we started I Was Wrong, and then that sort of stopped as well, because then he got COVID then. So like that's a couple months that we have no recording, and I'm like, so we just do whatever that we have to make sure that the show is afloat. And then after that, companion podcast came on, because I'm like, well, you know what? I think people should know what's going on behind the scene. How shitty some guests is. I'm just joking. But yeah, so we did that, and then James always wanted to do a show called, he would pick a person and make them into a millionaire. He pitched the show to Fox and stuff like that. They didn't get picked up. I'm like, we can do it as a podcast, and then we just pick a couple people in conjunction of promoting the book Skip the Line. And then we did that for like a couple episodes. Now we stopped because everyone is going towards that directions now, so we sort of stopped. That's how we met James Quandel too, and he's great.
Yeah,
he's on your show, and he's great, such a great guy. And then now we have and then James has been doing podcasts for so long. He has so many self-help people on. And then he's like, oh, I kind of want to pivot to story. I'm like, okay, let's do Wall Street Insane. You and Ahmed talk about this so much, and it was great. I think it could be a great series. So we started that. And then now I'm started another series called Who Are You? Because he has the idea of wanting to interview strangers no one knows about. I'm like, well, I would see what I can do. So we brought on my friend Brian Lawler, which has crazy stories. I don't know if you heard. So like that became the first episode, and then but the episode's gonna be monthly release rather than weekly release because it's not easy to find strangers and to have them come on.
Right. And did you find that like
Yeah.
that was more difficult? I haven't listened to the episode yet. Was it more difficult to because they don't have maybe something that they want to talk about, or
Yeah, it's hard to find because like some people they only have the one thing that they want to talk about. So like I just have to make sure they have multiple stories that can talk and they can last for an hour, because that's our durations. And at the same time to make sure their story is legit. That's a hard part. And then also at the same time to make sure they have equipment, and stuff like that. So it's hard in that sense, but the editing and the post production is pretty easy because it's I remember someone sent me a feedback like that series was great because it's so different and now it's so raw. So I want the rawness to come out in the series because like what you hear is what you get.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay, I want to be respectful of your time.
So thank you so much.
My last question is, where do I send people to learn more about you? They can follow you on Twitch. We'll put that in the show notes. Where else?
Yeah, and they can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter is at J_YOW07. And LinkedIn. And then the James After Show.
Do you ever last question? Do you ever have do you have plans on starting your own podcast?
I do. I have a couple in mind, but I don't think any of them is suitable for regular audience. I have one. It's called Asian Reading American Headline. So I will have doing a persona. I'm doing a Chinese persona and read because some headline is just weird or just funny and just doesn't reflect how it is in the paper, or especially the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp's trial. The headline is always weird. So I'm like, if I'm Asian and I read this headline, what will I think? So but I throw that idea to a couple of my friends. They're like, I don't know, this seems a bit racist. I'm like, well, I'm Asian, just having my own accents and read headline, how is that racist? or they're like, oh, that's way too political, but I just want to make fun of stuff. But
yeah, right.
So
right on. When you make that podcast, definitely let me know. I'll be your first listener.
Oh yeah, you can come on. We can talk about the headline. Yeah, because some headlines just absurd. So like, hey, Amber Heard's get more Aquaman screen time now. I'm like, well, what about Ukraine and Russia war? Like, it's weird. Like, all of a sudden, we heard about the war, and then Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's happening, and then we just never heard about the war until like recently again.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I thought that was strange too. But
it is like yeah.
But all right, Jay, thank you so much for your time. This has been great.
Thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, it's wonderful. It's great. I love it.
All right, till next time. Bye.
All right, see ya. Bye.
I hope you guys enjoyed that episode as much as I did. If you guys want the show notes to everything that we talked about, the links are going to be at degreefree.co/Jay Yow, JAYYOW. You can also just go to degreefree.co/podcast and it'll show up right there as well. A couple things before you leave. If you haven't already, please sign up for our newsletter, degreefree.co/newsletter. It comes out once a week and it has degree free jobs, tips, resources that you can use to get hired without a degree. Second, if you guys want to support the podcast, please consider leaving us a review anywhere you get your podcasts. And if you guys want to reach out, we always love to hear from you. Contact at degreefree.co. Send us an email. Let us know what's on your mind. Maybe you have an idea for an episode or you just want to say hi. Whatever it is, just let us know. All right. Until next time, guys. Aloha.